trip of Dr. Ibrahim Raisi and his presence in the greatest mosque of Indonesia. He is now giving a sort of acceptance and legitimacy to the presence of the Shias.
The follower of Shia in Indonesia feel that they are accepted by the government of Indonesia. People of Indonesia in history want to become independent state by policy of Sukarno. Now they see the policy applied by Iran policy in Iran modern.
Is there any move, any intention of the two countries to keep their trades with non-dollar currencies or any other currency except dollar, US dollar? And Israeli media has covered it, and they were trying to push that like Iran is looking after economic ties with Muslim majority countries to overcome the sanctions.
Mostly Indonesian people do not want to normalize. They want normalize, but only some, but only some of Indonesian.
Salam and welcome to Iran Screenshot channel with another discussion and another talk. Just recently, Dr. Ibrahim Raisi, the Iranian president, visited Indonesia on an invitation he received from his Indonesian counterpart, Mr. Jokowi. Iran, as you know, a regional power in West Asia, and Indonesia, the biggest, the most populated Muslim country of the world, and one of the economic powers in East Asia, in Southeast Asia. I'm supposed to talk about this trip, which had, of course, different dimensions with Dr. Muhammad Maruf from Paramadina University, Jakarta. Dr. Maruf, thank you for accepting our invitation.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Thank you. Let's directly to the questions. As the meeting was based on an invitation Dr. Ibrahim Raisi received from his Indonesian counterpart, what are the agendas? What is Jakarta looking for in having ties with the Iran and inviting Iranian president? How do you look at it from the Indonesian perspective?
Yes, of course, for us, President Jokowi would like to have a good relationship with any kind of country, especially for Iran. And I think I have a note. There are successful 5 agenda in Indonesia. First is signing a memorandum of understanding between President Widodo and President Raisi at the Bogor State Palace around, I think, 10:50, because the member of a delegation from Iran arrive at Jakarta airport at 9. And the second is visiting and cooperation with the Indonesian people representative, with Dr. Puan Maharani, chair of the People Representative Council, visiting and cooperation with the People Consultative Assembly, together with chairman of the People Representative Council, Dr. Bambang Susetio. And fourth, visiting and meeting of Indonesian people at the Islamic Cultural Center, Jakarta. And 5, congregational prayer together with Indonesian people at the Istiqlal Mosque between Jamaah Sunni and Shia. That 5 agenda, I think, succeed. And I have a note here that there is a significant for President Raisi in Istiqlal Mosque. We are talking about the mosque first,
So
number one,
as you mentioned, there have been different agendas on the table from the Indonesian side. A part of that, of course, should be the economic agendas. But it's not all limited to economic agendas, as you talked, because one point is based on the ministers who joined Dr. Ibrahim Raisi and the meetings and the agendas you talked about. But there is a powerful cultural dimension of the two countries. Ties between the two countries, as you mentioned, meeting in the Istiqlal Mosque, which, if I'm not wrong, is the biggest mosque in Southeast Asia, biggest Muslim mosque, which is the Muslim Sunni-dominated mosque. And how do you analyze that? If you give us some more details about that perspective of the trip of Dr. Ibrahim Raisi, the cultural dimension of it.
Okay. culture dimension only one of the dimension. Okay, there is a successful sign 10 preferential trade agreement cooperation. So culture in Moscow just one of successful agreement. Okay, I would like to mention one by one. First, field of trade preference. Second, education of illicit traffic and narcotic, psychotropic. And third, science and technology and innovation for assurance of halal product. Fifth, development of energy sector. Six, regulation in field pharmaceutical, biological, traditional medicine, cosmetic, and processed food. Seven, visa exemption for holder diplomatic and service passport. Eight, mutual administrative assistance in field of custom. Nine, trade promotion. And 10, culture exchange. So before we are going to analyzing the last one about the culture dimension, because it is praying is just praying, but have a significant for cultural dimension, which is of course will influence the political dimension. First, because Presiden Raisi, yeah, as a Jamaah Salah in Moscow, number one is a symbol of acceptance of Shia school of thought in Indonesia in the state level.
And this is the first time
in
taking
the state
place?
level. Second, this is kind of historic symbol of acceptance of Shia, yeah, Mazhab, Shia as a Mazhab in Indonesia in the state level, because it is the highest level, yeah, official. It is the first Iranian official who do Solah in Indonesia, in Istiqlal Moscow. Istiqlal Moscow has historical place for Indonesia because it is a symbol of state Moscow. And the second, President Raisi together with the great Imam, which is great Imam chosen by the government. And second, it is for I said the first Iranian president with the delegation. All delegation pray in a masjid in a masjid Istiqlal. So we can show it on the picture, yeah, on the screen, on the TV and live that must do the follower of Shia in Indonesia feel that they are accepted by the government of Indonesia.
And this
Yeah?
has not the and
Okay.
this one
It is
question,
it
Mr.
is the
Dr.
symbol.
Maruf, this has not this has not been the case before that. You mean before that Shias have not been accepted officially like that? I mean, now you mean by the trip of Dr. Ibrahim Raisi and his presence in the greatest mosque of Indonesia or Southeast Asia, Istiqlal Mosque, he is now giving a sort of acceptance and legitimacy to the presence of the Shias by the state of Indonesia. You mean that?
Yes, of course. Of course, you know, in the Shia community in Indonesia, during maybe 10 years and 5 years ago, very, very badly, because of some Indonesian official using sectarian community, using sectarian to get the power, the government, the minister. This is official, the official government of Indonesia, which is actually by nature against our Indonesian constitution. It is sectarian
Yeah.
approaching to get the knowledge. So this is one point, yeah. And another point is that moment become a moment reducing impact of evil propaganda of takfiri in Indonesia. Because of Raisi come to Indonesia and doing prayer together with Muslim Sunni in Indonesia, only one community, which is takfiri, say badly about such kind of moment, but very, very small. So it is proven that in public opinion, most of Indonesians accept because their president, so the good example for the grassroots.
Yes.
Okay. And another point is, like I said before, that President Raisi with the great Imam of Istiqlal Moscow. The great Imam is chosen by the government, so it is the legitimation. And another thing is, you have a message for ulama and Majelis Ulama Indonesia. Yes, the branch of Majelis Ulama Indonesia in East Java has give a fatwa that Shia is a deviate from Islam. But nationally, Majelis Ulama Indonesia didn't give a fatwa that Shia is deviate from Islam. But from this case, yeah. So the official, like semi-official, I said semi-official Majelis Ulama Indonesia did like the politician, yeah, using sektarian to get the power, because Majelis Ulama Indonesia in the history is part of the political
Yes.
process in Indonesia. Yeah, not official, but supported money from the government. That's another point. And another point is Indonesian people, yeah, at the grassroots level, not to be hostile by Shia community. It is the so President Jokowi Dodo become a pioneer, become example for Indo at the grassroots level, not to hostile Shia community. You know that during war, yeah, conflict in Syria, yeah, 500, yeah, member of Shia, one of them dead, and all of the house will be
Yes.
burned. So this is a good moment, yeah, to give a message for grassroots level. And another point is, you know, it is maybe message for Malaysian official. So President Jokowi Dodo give example for Malaysian official to learn to treat Shia community, yeah, in Malaysia to be fair, to be knowledgeable, and to be civilized
So
manner.
you mean the trip? You mean the trip not only the effects of trip not only confined to the Indonesia, but also it may have effect on other countries, specifically the most important one, Malaysia, the neighboring country Malaysia, and about their attitudes towards the followers of other sects, like followers of Shia school of thought in their country, possibly. I mean, or generally their attitude towards the Shias.
Not only for community Shia in Indonesia, but also in East Asia. I said in
Yeah,
East
yeah.
Asia, for Philippines, for Malaysia, especially for Malaysia is doing a bad thing for Shia community, unjust, yeah, unfair and uncivilized. Because you know that officially Malaysian government adopt the policy from the 1,000 years ago, yeah, during Muawiyah, during Muawiyah dynasty, they adopt such kind of policy persecution for Shia
Okay.
community. So it is, you
Yeah,
know
I get
that
it.
the
I get it.
visiting President Raisi give back
If we
for,
shift
yeah.
if we shift from that cultural aspect that you mentioned to some political, I mean global politics, and about the attitude, general attitude of the Malaysian government, Indonesian government, sorry to say, the Indonesian government towards the policies. Something really important I noticed in some of the news that was about the Iran-Indonesia deals based on currencies, local currencies, or any other currency except US dollar. That was also something I heard, and you may talk about that also. Is there any move, any intention of the two countries to keep their trades with non-dollar currencies or any other currency except dollar, US dollar?
Yes, but it is going on. Some Indonesian official want to be a part of BRICS
Yeah,
member, yeah. Brazil, Russia, India, and
in
China,
South Africa.
and maybe, yeah, in South Africa. So Indonesia moving to de-dollarization, and I see from Iran media said about the agreement about using our current currency, exchanging current currency. That's what I read in Iran media. So of course, yeah, it is. It is not proven officially, yeah, by the Indonesian official, but the netizen of Indonesia, mostly people Indonesia moving to the
Hmm.
de-dollarization. So the impact of economy, not only politic, but has economical dimension. Because of what? Because of the eye of Indonesian people accept the global change of the
Yeah,
world.
yeah.
Yeah. You know that in the last year during Russia war, the approaching of US to push Russia, yeah, to go war with Ukraine is unacceptable. Actually, you know that mostly Indonesian people didn't accept that until now. When we see, yeah, update today, day by day, yeah, about the Ukraine war, yeah, most of people Indonesia didn't accept about the moving of the Zelensky, moving of the Biden, moving European country, because we know, yeah, we know, France now getting closer to China, and Europe getting closer to China, and they want to get the gas from China with their own currency. So that
Yeah,
global
yeah,
change
yeah,
effect
naturally.
to the Indonesian official and
Yeah,
generally for Indonesian people.
one more important question. You should know that President Raisi, before coming to Jakarta, has a visit, and he visited Damascus, Syria. And you know better than me that the case of Syria and the Syrian crisis from 2011 had a great impact on Iranian relation with the Muslim majority countries, because Syria was a case that was very highlighted, huge propaganda, very against the Syrian government and the role that Iran played in Syria. Now Syria is back to the Arab League. Now the Arab countries are one by one normalizing their ties with the Syrian government. And I want to know the perspective of the Indonesian government and Indonesian people, how they look to Syria currently after all these developments and the role that Iran played in Syria.
Yes, of course, it is a good news for all over the world, not only for Damascus, because Damascus become a victim of the global player, which is you know that United States and Europe want keep Israel to always alive and always exist in this world until the
Yeah.
maybe Israel, great Israel
I
become
will come to the point of Israel
realized,
as
yeah,
well as my
become
last question.
actualized.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Okay, of course, during 10 years ago, yeah, Indonesian people confused about Syria. Indonesian officially accept that Bashar Assad still as a member, yeah, Syria as a member of United Nations. But but Indonesian official 10 years ago didn't want to show up, yeah, frankly about supporting
Yeah.
Bashar Assad, yeah, because of the forcing, yeah, forcing political forcing, but acceptance, yeah, mostly Indonesian government, Indonesian official government, and the people of Indonesia know they are only, only 3,000 people Indonesia be go to Syria, 3,000, only 3,000, and some of them get killed, some of them cannot going back to Indonesia. So it is a lesson for Indonesian people not to be a victim anymore. Yeah. And now the truth is revealed. The truth, the real truth is revealed. So the people in Indonesia deceived, yeah, by the mainstream media, but because of the moving politic in Iran, not 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 because Iran want to expand the influence in the Middle East. No, because Iran want to have Syria become independent state, defend Syria to become a sovereignty, etc., etc. So the eye of Indonesian people see, and the mistake of the kingdom of Arab Saudi invaded Yemen, yeah, become a part of the revolt, become a part of ISIS, So they are changed very rapidly. So make that get influence to the Indonesian official also, and the President Jokowi the gesture of the statement of President Jokowi and the preparing for invitation welcoming the President Raisi show that uh, his policy lately, because 1 year's left, he will left
Mhm.
the palace, so he want to show that he supported Iran. You know that by nature, by nature, between Iran and Indonesia has a natural constitution. You know, in the preamble of Indonesian constitution, state very frankly that Indonesia is independent country and have an obligation to demolish the
Mhm.
colonialization. We put it in Indonesia, call it
Mhm.
penjajahan. Penjajahan in English is abolish
To
colonization,
confront the
and Iran
colonization, yes.
constitution also. So it is, to confront the colonization. So it is by nature it is same. And you know that for me, soon people of Indonesia in history want to become independent state by policy of Sukarno. Now they see the policy applied by Iran policy in Iran modern after maybe we can say that it is a fruitful, it is the result of Iran revolution, I think. Because in the early of revolution, so it's still that euphoria of revolution, become
Yeah.
influence,
Yeah.
influence to
So
some activists of Indonesia. But now they see the spirit of the to become Indonesian independent. Again, not the West, not the East. It is the
yeah, you
same with
mean you mean they
Iran,
share
not
the
the West,
same
not the
values.
East.
They share the same values.
Yeah, the same value, and Iran succeed to implement the spirit of
Yeah,
Indonesian
I got it.
constitution.
I got your point. And now, as my last question, which is related, because the trip of Dr. Ibrahim Raisi to Indonesia was very highlighted by Israeli medias as well. I mean, Israeli medias covered it, and they were trying to push that like Iran is looking after, economic ties with Muslim majority countries to overcome the sanctions. That's what the Israeli media reported. Here, I want to, bring another dimension of the discussion on the table, which is about the role that Israel is playing and the normalization of ties Israel is trying to get with the Muslim countries, with Arab countries. They started, and I'm aware that some people, even in Indonesia, are looking after that sort of, political changes towards the policy of the government. And I want to know that part of the story, the conflict of Palestine, the struggle of Palestine, the role that Israel is playing, and how the Indonesian government is looking to the matter of Palestine and their attitude towards Israel, and how do you analyze the possibility of the normalization of ties between Indonesia and Israel? Possibly, do you think that's likely to happen or not?
I think not going to happen, because by nature Indonesian peoples is against colonialization for 350 years. So our history is fighting for colonialism. Our history, Indonesian people familiar with the heroes. Like in Iran, maybe martyrdom. We have a martyrdom, 1,000 of martyrdom in Indonesia. In the past, we have a hero like the Prince of Diponegoro, who fight the Dutch, for 5 years. And that time the Dutch is the richest, maybe the company, because
Yeah, they were companies. Yeah, colonial companies.
the
Yes.
kingdom, they have a company, colonial company. So they lost, more than half, money, the budget. They lost their budget because of the Prince of Diponegoro. And now for military analysts, they still wondering why such kind of Prince Diponegoro have a spirit, yeah, fight in the term of the lack of the weapon. Just one example, and many examples. So I said, like I said before, normalization not going to happen, but I have to say the truth. For the economic tie, we don't have a relation with Israel. But the fact in an economic dimension, I think, yeah, I didn't get the fake number. Okay, let's say in 2020, the total trade between two countries, Indonesia and Iran, will reach 257.2 millions. This total increase, yeah, 25% compared to 2020, which was value at 208.59 millions. So President Jokowi, the Indonesian official, pushed for increase the total trade figure. That is official. But I think if we compare with Indonesia and Israel, more than that, yeah. For the visiting, Indonesian visit Israel, the amount of the student, I think if we compare, yeah, Indonesian students who study in Iran and study in Israel, the amount is huge, yeah. The Indonesian more, yeah, Indonesian more study student more. The amount is more than study in Iran. So another point is the historical background, and second, the fact that the because of the trading, yeah, I said that high trading, but mostly Indonesian people. And I said there is some, yeah, maybe a little research that mostly Indonesian people do not want to normalize. They want normalize, but only some, yeah, but only some of Indonesian. The Indonesian people, they don't have a good argumentation, because it is again the highest value
of the country. Yeah.
Indonesia, in the preamble of Indonesia, yeah, the existential state of Indonesia, the existential existence of Indonesia is, yeah, to become independent and have obligation
To fight against
obligation to
colonialism.
demolish the colonization. So it is again, yeah, if there is some moving approaching, yeah, normalization, yeah, like some of Middle East country, so it cannot. It would be again our reason. It would be again our
Against our
constitution,
constitution
and will change our
and your identity.
identity. It will change our
Okay.
identity.
Okay.
Okay, just in case if, yeah, Indonesia will normalize tie with the Israel, of course, will change the identity of nation,
Yeah, I got
the
it.
identity
I
of
got it. So they have
state.
to change the identity if they want to keep ties with Israel and make I mean their relations normal with Israel. They have to change the identity of the Indonesian people and Indonesian nation. That's the point you say.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So because we are side of the Israel, we are side of the United States, etc., etc. That's the logic implication.
Okay. Okay. And so you mean yet there are economic ties, if I'm not wrong. You said there are economic ties with Israel, but yet the government is not I mean looking after normalization of ties with Israelis. And you believe if such a move is going to take place, it will happen just if Indonesia is going to change the identity of the people or bring a tremendous change in the understanding of people about colonialism. That is the case, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, of course.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Maruf, Dr. Muhammad Maruf, political analyst and lecturer from Paramadina University in Jakarta. Thank you for joining and being with us in Iran Screenshot.
Okay. See you.
Thank you. Thank you for watching and following us. Don't forget to subscribe our channel, like the video, share the video with your friends if you liked it. And don't forget to keep us updated about your comments and your ideas about what we are producing and what we are making on Iran screenshot. Bye-bye.